Now we wanted to ask her about negative gearing. Nice, easy question. Very topical at the moment.
Very topical. A very big topic.
Yes.
So we do potentially have changes to negative gearing and capital gains tax concessions. We also have had a very big drop-off in investor activity over the past 3 years. Over 4 years, since 2015. So there's been a 30% decline in investor finance. So we do have a lot of very, very nervous investors at the moment. So negative gearing, the changes that have been proposed by the ALP will most likely lead to price falls and will most likely lead to rental increases. And not just me saying it, there has been modelling done by both sides of government and by independent forecasters as well to suggest that will be the case. The ultimate impact, will remain to be seen, but really from a policy level, it is all about renters that government does need to worry about, because although price declines are very worrying and do impact people's wealth, we do know how sensitive renters are to even minimal changes in rental levels. So it is a social consideration and also a wealth consideration as well.
So it's all, some have turned around and said, oh, well, there are so many politicians that also have properties that are negatively geared, that won't go out. But it is definitely on the decline as far as things that you can do within negative gearing, and that seems like from both sides that's going to decrease.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the policy changes that were changes that were made by the Liberal Party in the budget a couple of years ago, and it was at a time when we it looked like we would always have lots and lots of investors in the market. But I guess what we have seen is, since that time, we can see how easily spooked they are with regards to finding it hard to get finance. We know that a lot of the restrictions that APRA have put on finance for investors have now been reduced. So, there does seem to be a bit of an easing up in terms of the access to finance issue. But,
so that sort of turned the tap off in that sense. A lot of, before worrying about what you can claim and what you can't, that the banks have already said you need to have a bigger deposit. So a lot of the investors go, oh.
Yeah, absolutely. And very quickly, I think it didn't take long to it didn't take much to really change investor activity. So, this is a big deal. If you consider the average investor in Australia, many of them are buying at very low yields. They do have an expectation of capital growth, which isn't happening at the moment. And, they are relying on tax incentives. But, you think of the flip side of that. We do rely almost 100% on individual investors to provide our rental housing in Australia, unless you're very, very low income and can get some government housing. So, there is a consideration there to understand, who's going to provide
investing and providing that
who's
now?
going to provide the rental housing?
If you don't,
and I don't think the ALP have a good backup plan as yet.
It's a good point, and it's an open-ended question that you could ask. So thank you very much. Cheers.